Hi, I'm Krista Jacobson, headmistress of the Budokai, where we teach authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the purpose of kata in traditional martial arts. Anyone who studies traditional martial arts or traditional Japanese martial arts, kata is a very important and integral aspect towards training. So today I thought I would take time to explain the purpose of kata and why and what and how you should be studying kata. Now, before I begin, I always give a shout out to all of my new viewers. So if this is the first video that you guys have seen of me, my name is Krista Jacobson. I'm the headmistress of the Budokai, which means School of the Warrior Way. We teach Koryu Ninjutsu and Koryu Bujutsu, so the ancient martial arts of the ninja and samurai. This organization does have other areas of focus, such as reality-based self-defense, weapons training and tactics, survival skills, martial arts theory, thought, and philosophy, martial arts conditioning. If any of these topics interest you at all, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and don't forget to click the bell. I do post 2 to 3 videos every single week, so if you're interested in any of those topics, please subscribe, click the bell, and keep up with what we're doing. Many times you hear people say things like, kata is useless, you can't use kata for self-defense, you can't use kata in a real fight, and for the individuals that say that, I just disagree. I just think that they've been misinformed on what kata really is. So kata, just as its base principle, means form. And all it is a principle or a strategy that is passed down from teacher to student. It teaches the student how to apply specific strategies and principles and tactics within a combative situation. Kata is a philosophy. Kata is a lesson. Kata is not supposed to be an exact replication of a fight. And so many times people tend to think that's what it's supposed to be, but that's not the reason why it was designed. When you're training in traditional Japanese martial arts, there are 2 fundamental practices that most students tend to work with: waza and kata. Waza is an individual motion. Like an example, it doesn't matter what strike that you throw, whether it's Kizami-zuki, Gyaku-zuki, it doesn't matter. Whatever strike that you throw out, nuki-te, it is a atemi-waza. It doesn't matter what kicking technique you use, it's a giri-waza. It doesn't matter what blocking technique that you use, it's an uke-waza. Each individual technique is a waza. Kata is a form comprised of various waza. So what do we mean by that? When you look at kata, you usually start in some sort of a kamae, whether it's shizen or in some sort of a fighting position. This itself, postures and stances, is a waza. So then you start with a particular waza of a position. From there, you're going to move your body, taisabaki waza. You might block a specific attack, uke waza, and then counter with some sort of a strike, atemi waza or giri waza. So if you look at that, we've used a waza for position, a waza for motion, a waza to block, and another waza to counter. If you teach it as 1, 2, 3, 4, and all of the students do the same succession, 1, 2, 3, 4, now you have kata. Kata is a form. Kata is comprised of waza. Kata was designed so that the teacher could teach the student how to move in a combative situation or in a self-defense situation. That is what kata was designed for. It was designed so the teacher can teach the students, against this attack, you can do this. Not, against this attack, do this. And that mindset is completely different. I want to say that again. Kata was designed for the teacher to teach the students, against this specific attack, you can do this. Not, against this specific attack, do this. And that mentality over time has become blurred, and many people misunderstand what kata truly is. Let me give you guys another analogy so you guys can better understand how a kata is comprised. Earlier, I just got done saying that kata is comprised by waza. I want you to think of a chain. Here's a chain. The chain is comprised by links. Those links interact with one another, and it goes from one link to this link to this link to this link. The links in the chain is the waza. The chain itself is the kata. Another analogy that we can use when trying to understand how a kata is comprised is kind of the use of language. Like an example, let's say that we're going to use the words, Budo has the greatest kata ever. If we look at those words, Budo has the greatest kata ever, each of those are an individual word, and you can dissect the words and kind of see what each word has an individual meaning. But by putting those words together in a sentence, it delivers a specific message, just like kata. Many times in traditional Japanese martial arts, people take the kata and then they try to work on various henka. Henka means variation. Now, variations, or henka, is a great way to get a deeper understanding of the kata. However, when you look at kata and you're looking at henka of a kata, you cannot change its meaning. You cannot change its message. So just because you change something in the kata and you make a variation of it, it's not going to be a henka or a variation if you change its principle. Let me use an example. Earlier, we just got done talking about words, and if we use the sentence, Budo has the greatest kata ever. What is Budo? Now we can look at the kanji and it means warrior way and that sort of thing. But if you look at Budo in context of how we use it in the world of martial arts, Budo is traditional Japanese martial arts. And it could be any type. So karate is a form of Budo. Iaido is a form of Budo. Judo is a form of Budo. Taijutsu is a form of Budo, right? Ninjutsu, Bujutsu, Kobujutsu, Kinjutsu, these are all forms of Budo. So, our warrior way, right? So, when you look at the word Budo, it is a generic word that is traditional Japanese martial arts. In context of this sentence, Budo has the greatest kata ever. So let's say, how do we make a henka or a variation of that without changing its principle, without changing its philosophy, without changing the message? So instead of saying Budo, we can just say traditional Japanese martial arts has the ultimate technique of all time. So Budo has the greatest kata ever. In principle, in message, it's just like saying traditional Japanese martial arts has the ultimate technique of all time. So when you're studying traditional Japanese martial arts and you're training with kata, it's very important that you do look at henka or variations of that particular lesson because it teaches you a deeper understanding of what the kata was supposed to be. We also need to realize that kata is whispers from the past. Kata is what's been passed down from one generation to the next. The kata is the lesson. So kata was designed to give someone an option against various different attacks. That's what it is. The teacher is supposed to teach the student how they can move in a combative situation or in a self-defense situation and utilize the principles and strategies that's within that particular martial art. The kata is not supposed to fit your life. You are supposed to train in the kata and then apply what you learn from the kata in the situation of which you need to apply it to. Many times people say things like, well, when we look at Koryu Bujutsu or Koryu Ninjutsu or, traditional Japanese martial arts of the ninja and samurai, the way that you're seeing these old kata being performed today, that's not the way the ninja fought. That's not the way the samurai fought. My answer to that is 100% true. That's not the way they fought. If you go into a boxing gym and you watch boxers box on the heavy bag and do speed bag drills and do double in bag work, those boxers are doing drills to prepare themselves to get into the ring and compete. The drills that they're doing in boxing does not look like what they're doing in the ring. The drills are to prepare them to get them in the ring to then compete. Same thing here. Kata is how they trained to go to war. Kata are not supposed to be techniques specifically used without question, without change on the field of battle. That's not what kata was supposed to be. Kata is a principle. Kata is a strategy that's comprised by little techniques and tactics, and it's your job as the practitioner of traditional martial arts to pull and extract the various techniques and tactics and strategies from the kata so you can apply it to your self-defense. In studying kata, it also gives us an opportunity to honor history and tradition and to take part in history and tradition. These kata have been passed down through many generations, from master to student, father to son, mother to daughter. And being able to pass down these kata from one generation to the next is an opportunity to take part in the history and tradition. Now, some of these kata have changed and evolved over time because society has changed and evolved over time. But nonetheless, even though there may be slight changes in the kata from one generation to the next, the principles and the philosophies always remain the same. Now, I do want to say again that kata is an extremely important aspect to traditional Japanese martial arts training. However, there is no real substitute for live training and training with a partner. So kata does not replace training with a partner. What kata does is allows you to move very fast, very aggressive, generally using visualization skills to do something in a way that you would do it in a real combative situation, in a real self-defense situation. When you're working on various techniques, when you're with a training partner, you can't go full force with a training partner. Even when you're sparring, even if you're doing full contact sparring and you're doing striking techniques and kicking techniques and throwing techniques and locking techniques, you're still not going full force with a training partner. When you're doing kata, specifically solo training with kata, you can go as fast and as hard as you want, and it enables you to be able to work on that physical motion, to program your body to go through certain motions and have a neurological response to what it is that you're visualizing. So when you're visualizing the attack and then you move in the appropriate manner to do the kata on someone, that helps you enhance your skill to be able to do the various techniques and strategies and principles that you get from the kata and put that in a self-defense situation. Another one of the many purposes to training with kata in traditional Japanese martial arts is to understand the fine intricacies that go into the kata. Every single kamae that you're supposed to get to, the block, the perfect form, the ultimate technique, the ultimate punch, the best kick, the best counter, how to move. All of these things take place in the kata, and they're always going to be the fine detail to put you in the perfect spot. This block has to be like this. Hikite goes like this. Kamae goes like this. Turn your body this way. Here, lean forward here. Don't lean forward here. Pull the hand all the way to the hip. All these things that we see that the masters tell their students to do is for a reason. It's teaching you how to go through full range of motion. Now, a lot of times when you're doing bag work or you're sparring, you know, it's so dynamic. People move here, they move apart, they get close, they move around, you're doing drills. You don't throw every strike all the way out. You don't do this when you do the block. You move, you have more shorter, compact motion. When you do kata, it enables you to be able to work on body motion, body control, full range of motion, get a better understanding of how your body works and how it's supposed to work in that feeling or within that form. Of course, when you get into a combative situation or a self-defense situation, that's not probable. I talk about it all the time in the dojo, the difference between possible and probable. It's possible to win the lottery if I buy a lottery ticket. It's not probable that I'm going to win the lottery if I buy a lottery ticket. So you have to use your self-defense and martial arts training in the same way. Yes, you should be looking at kata and try to strive to have the best form and the best technique in your kata. But you have to know that the techniques that are in the kata, that's what you're actually going to use. Waza is what you're going to apply in a reality-based self-defense situation, in a combative situation. You're going to use waza, the individual motions within the kata, the kihon. That's what you're going to use in self-defense. You're not going to use kata. Kata are just examples of how you can use the waza. And when you understand how to use your body, and you understand your physical skills, and then you start understanding the application of what's possible and what's probable, you always want to make sure that you're doing techniques that are what's probable, not possible. I see so many different arts doing things that's just not probable. It's possible you can jump up and do, you know, a 360 double spin back kick or something like that. It's not probable. So if you're one of those people like me who are training to be able to be efficient in a reality-based self-defense situation, you want to make sure that the skills that you're using in that situation are the skills that are highly probable, not possible. Another thing that we talk about is this idea of your training has to fit reality. Reality doesn't fit the training. So make sure that you understand what is real. What is reality? How do people really move? Again, the lesson, the kata, does not teach that. Kata is supposed to be a lesson that can transcend time. It's the master teaches a student, and it's passed down from each generation. And it's the master's job to be able to take that particular philosophy and strategy and apply it in the time of which they live, so the students understand how to use that applicable skills for self-defense in a combative situation. So there's my video today on the purpose of training kata in traditional martial arts. It helps bring the mind, body, and spirit together. It teaches principles, strategies, and philosophies that will transcend time and that you can utilize in combative situations and self-defense situations. If you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to click subscribe and click the bell. I do post at least 2 to 3 videos every single week. If you're interested in training in traditional Japanese martial arts, check out my website at budoryuninjutsu.com. There you guys can see the 7 traditions and a list of schools, the philosophies and strategies that we teach. If you don't live next to one of our schools, you guys can always join the Budoryukai online ninjutsu dojo and start training with us that way. So thank you guys very much for your love and support. I deeply appreciate it. Until next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey of Budo. Bye.